Hello, in this video I will explain how I created this village PCG system. I have a village PCG that can generate a mesh within the village. It contains many PCG inside. Firstly is the house PCG. It has an input node. The output landscape connect with the surface sampler. To generate the point on the landscape, we can see the point spot on the landscape in a debug mode, but the point doesn't fit with the size of the house. Therefore, I use a bound modifier node to make the pawns fit with the size of the house for the error checking system later. Next, I use a density filter node to set the density for the house, and I use a transform pawn node to adjust the rotation of the house. I only adjust the z-axis to create a random rotation for the house. I also turn on the absolute transform to make the house point straight upward. Then I use the cell pruning node to prevent the house from colliding with each other. Next, I use a different node to prevent the house from colliding with the other mesh within the village. Finally, I use a static mesh spawner to spawn the house mesh. I also set the weight for each house mesh. The higher the number is, the more type of this house will be generated within the volume. For example, I set the weight of the lighthouse mesh to 1, so there is only one lighthouse mesh is spawned within the volume. Next is the row PCG. It uses the supply instead of using the volume like the house PCG. It has a row tag for the other PCG to identify it for the error checking system. It has some similar nodes like the house PCG. I also set the bounds of the rows to fit with its size for the error checking system later. I use a transform points node to adjust the shape of the rows and the spawn mesh to spawn the mesh of the rows. I also use the same techniques to create the line posts along the rows. I use a different node to prevent the house mesh from colliding with the row mesh. To link the row supply with the village PCG, I use the row tag that I created before within the rows PCG. Then I create a node for reference the shape of the row, which is for the error checking system. In the debug mode, we can see the wipeout of the rows. The other meshes within the village will avoid these wipeouts. Therefore, the mesh within the village won't collide with the rows. I also turn on the select multiple, so I can create the multiple supply rows. Next is the river PCG. Similar with the row PCG, I used a river tag to identify it. It has the same nodes like the rows, but it has different values. So links this river supply to the village PCG by using the river tag to prevent the river from colliding with the other mesh within the village. Inside the village PCG, there is two more PCG that have to generate the trees and the flowers within the village. I also turn on the absolute transform to make the trees spawn upward. It also has the self-pruning node to prevent them from colliding with each other, and the different nodes to prevent them from colliding with the other mesh within the village. Next is the foliage and fence PCG. It contains 4 PCG nodes to generate the trees, the rocks, the grasses and the flower. It has a fence supply generation to generate the fence with a fence tag. It has a supply sampler node to generate the mesh itself, and the other supply sampler node that connect with the other PCG difference to prevent the other meshes from generating inside the fence. In the debug mode, we can see a white circle bounce that prevent the other mesh spawn inside the village. Therefore, the foliage meshes of the forest won't collide with the village. I also create a different node to prevent the fence from colliding with the river and the roads, and I also create a different nodes for each foliage PCG to prevent the forest from colliding with the river and the roads. Next, I create a farm supply generation as same as the road and the river. It also has a farm tag for the identification, and the tag was also used to link the farm supply generation to the village PCG to prevent the farm from colliding with the other mesh within the village. Next, I created a fruit PCG to spawn the fruit on the farm. It also has the safe pruning node to prevent the fruit from colliding with each other. User can adjust the fruit PCG to change the type of fruit on the farm. Next is the small fence splash generation. I also give it a small fence tag for the identification. To improve the small fence, I use the copy points and the mesh sampler to generate the hanging foliage on the small fence. User can adjust the hanging foliage or disable it if they don't want. Next, I create a store BCG using the same techniques. I also give it a store tag for the error checking system later. Next, I create a fruit box for the market using the BCG volume. It can link with the store supply generation with the store tag. Therefore, the store supply can pass the information to the different nodes of the fruit box to prevent the fruit box from colliding with the stores within the market area. Next is the moving board. I created a supplier board path, which is the path for the boss and the boss blueprint. It set the nodes to attack the boss to the supply. It also had a delay variable to adjust the delay of the bot, a guest actor node to recognize the bot path. It has a time to complete, so the users can adjust how long the bot will arrive to the destination. The move object timeline have to move the boss on the bot path, and the test actor transform to set the location and the rotation of the bot on the supply path. I also create a basic AI that can navigate around the world. With the behavior tree that I created, it can move randomly around the world or move to a specific target. The AI also has the detour controller, which prevents them from colliding with each other. Next is the day and night cycle system. I use an event tick connected with a speed variable to adjust the day and night cycle speed. Then I use a make rotator node to rotate the directional lines and the sky sphere blueprint. Next is the landscape auto material. It contains two material layers, which are grass layer and dirt layer. User can add more layers if they prefer, or change the current layers to another materials. Within the landscape mode, user can choose the layers from the auto landscape materials and paint them on the landscape. Users can also adjust the current material layers by adjusting the instance landscape material. While I was creating this BCG system, I had an issue that is the mesh within the village spawn on the roads and the rivers. I found a way to fix this problem by adding the bound modifiers to the river and the road supplies generations. Then I set the bound values to fit with the size of the river and the roads, and the issue was fixed. For the improvement of the project, the moving boss work well with a single boss. However, if there's more than one boss, the boss will be spawned at the same starting location. So this can be improved by spawning the boss at a different starting location, so they won't collide with each other at the beginning. Another improvement that I want to make that making the fire Niagara appear at the nighttime and disappear at the daytime. This can polish the scene a lot, and this will create a huge difference between the days and nighttime. Therefore, it makes the scene look more realistic. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you for watching.